Hi, well, happy to be here today with Kate Malczewski of College Connectors. And we're going to be talking about some tips for ninth graders, students who are just going off to high school, but who are already seeing college on the horizon. What should you be thinking about? So, Kate, before we get into this, I know you've been having a busy summer and I think are getting ready to take off to go to Yellowstone with the family.
Yes, we are leaving in 4 days and I'm super excited. The highlight for me is going to be whitewater rafting in Yellowstone. So
Wow.
I cannot
Wow.
wait.
Pictures, we want pictures.
Yes, of course.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as exciting as that is, I think for a lot of ninth graders going off to high school is probably at some point is going to feel like whitewater rafting for them too. And I
Yes.
think, we're excited to be able to offer some things to keep in mind. So, Kate, if you'll share with us some of the things you have shared with your ninth graders.
Sure. Well, I think for students starting in ninth grade, one of the most important things they can do is practice being successful ninth graders. They don't have to worry about which college they're going to. It's far too early to think about that. But I would say there's certainly things they can be doing now to make sure they're prepared and opening options up by the time they graduate high school. So one piece of advice that I think is really important is to fine tune those study skills. So there is typically a huge jump in expectations and workload from 8th grade to ninth grade. And so it's important to think about how you're going to study and how you're going to manage your time. I always encourage students to use a planner to map out that daily homework and break down big projects. And the other thing to keep in mind too is practice studying in different ways. As you grow, the way you study might be different, or you might study for math differently than you would study for a history paper and test. So practice doing a couple different options in terms of studying.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think, study skills are something that students don't like to focus on or maybe don't realize they should. So that's a great tip to kick it off.
Mhm.
What else? What might be another tip for
Oh,
those?
we often get questions about registration. So, again, the whole idea is to open up as many doors as possible at the end of your senior year. And so when you think about registering for classes, you should probably consider having 4 years of your 4 courses, which is your English, your math, your sciences, and social sciences, and foreign language. And not every student will do that, and not every school requires that, but it does open up many doors for you as you're doing that, as you're choosing that curriculum. It's also important to challenge yourself, right? So, schools are looking at how you can challenge yourself and how you've challenged yourself throughout the 4 years of high school. And so if you feel like a standard level class might be pretty easy, that you could get an A in it, but you might get like an A minus in AP or honors class, you should go ahead and challenge yourself, right? It's better to do that early and see how much you can achieve early on in high school versus wait until later to start some courses that are more challenging.
That's great advice. And then I think too, for a lot of students, they don't realize that what they do outside the classroom is almost just as important as what's going on inside the classroom. So what's your advice as far as like planning for activities when you're in high school?
Yes, well, I think ninth grade is a great time to spread your wings and try something new. I always encourage students to think about activities and what you're involved in, kind of like a mountaintop from ninth grade to that senior year. And in ninth grade, it's about breadth of activities. It's about trying new things. So I encourage students to try 2 new activities that you might not have done in middle school. And then gradually you'll work your way and you'll find out what you like and what you're really interested in as you get older. But it's also important to think about that activities don't just mean school activities too. It could be independently focused. So if you have a hobby or if you have an interest that school doesn't offer, maybe it's like environmental or birding or playing the piano or something like that. Go ahead and try to take it to the next level if you can. Colleges acknowledge that activities aren't just school affiliated, that you can spend a lot of time on interests that are important to you, and that's just as valuable as being in an organized activity in high school. So I think the most important thing is to make sure you're using that extra time wisely between homework and school, and some relaxing too, of course.
Oh yeah, got to have that relaxing.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Those were, that was 3-minute tips about students who are approaching 9th grade and what to do. Again, with College Connectors, you can find us at www.collegeconnectors.com. And we encourage you to share this video with your family and friends. And if you do have additional questions, you can reach out and find us at collegeconnectors.com. Thanks so much, Kate.
Thanks, Jenny. Have a good night.